I think it's a very, very nuanced conversation. And the idea that you have to be one thing, you have to be a girl boss or you don't get respect. You have to be a trad wife or you don't get respect. You have to be a perfect mother. You have to be this. You have to. Men don't have these conversations. Men don't have girl boss eras. If they miss things with their family, with their spouses, with their partners, with their kids, like they're just providing. They're just working really hard. Nobody thinks of a dad as being a bad guy because he has extra hours at work. They think of him as a provider. If a man spends more time with his kids, he's just an amazing father. Wow, he's got his priorities straight. There's not these narratives assigned to men and what they do in the workplace. And listen, I understand how toxic being in an office can be. More than aware of it. And if it's not for you, don't do it. Find a way to make money doing something that makes you happy. I'm not saying quit your job, but I'm saying spend that energy on working to put yourself in a position where you aren't having to do that. But you can't have that and get promoted to CMO. And when someone says that, it's like they're saying something that's offensive. Baby, this is obvious. There's already all these things working against us. And if you're a Black woman or you're a woman of color, forget it. Everything is working against you. So you can't have the perfect home life, the perfect work life, the perfect non-stressful work situation, have everything be convenient for you, and make it to the top of whatever industry. Something is going to be, you have to sacrifice somewhere. And that's not offensive. That's the reality. Mediocre men excel all the time. They are rewarded all the time. There is a man running for mayor of Los Angeles, one of the biggest, most influential cities in the world, who has never spent a day in public service. He is a mediocre man. He is a mediocre white man, and he may win the mayor's office for Los Angeles. We have a president who has no qualifications whatsoever. I can go down the line. His entire cabinet, just bozos. We have a crackhead for the Secretary of Health. Stop comparing yourself to men. They have a different experience. They have a different experience in the workplace. They are not held to the same standards. They are not held to the same narratives, and they never will be. But we have to stop bickering amongst each other about how this all works. Yes, if you're not in the office face to face with people, if people aren't knowing that this was your work, if they're not developing relationships and networking with you, it's likely going to be very hard for you to excel and get promoted and move up through that company. It's going to be harder for you. But if your mental health is more important, then let that be more important. But we can't reprogram the system overnight. We can't even agree on what women are supposed to be, let alone say that you're going to be able to have those same opportunities. It's hard. The workplace is hard. Moving up in success is hard. You have to make sacrifices in different places. And a sacrifice is not a one-size-fits-all thing. And if you're somebody who is aspirational and you want to conquer an entire industry, you're going to spend less time with your kids. There's only 24 hours in a day. You're probably not going to be the best partner. There's only 24 hours in a day. Or you're going to be the best partner and the best mother and the best friend and the best sister and the best daughter, and you probably won't also be the best employee or the best boss. And certainly, if you do achieve that, it's not going to be every day. I think Michelle Obama had an incredible quote. And she said, it's impossible to have it all, so stop with that. There are trade-offs and it's okay. Life is long and you have chapters. And I would argue that even within chapters, you have paragraphs. And day to day, things change. And day to day, hour by hour, you have sacrifices and choices that you have to make. And every single one of those has consequences. So to attack an entire idea of girl bossing as it being negative and it upholding this impossible standard for women, and Yes, I totally agree. It is an impossible standard. But accomplishing very hard things that are almost impossible require impossible levels of work and dedication and sacrifice. I've missed so many things with my family. I've missed birthdays, I've missed parties, I've missed dance recitals and performances. I've missed so many things in pursuit of my career. And now that I've reached a certain level of my career, I can shift that and prioritize them because I've worked to a place where I have that flexibility. I did not have that flexibility in my 20s. I had to make sacrifices. And am I sad that I missed those things? Yes, but it would have been impossible to do everything. And I not only forgive myself for it, I knew that going in. And now I'm in a different place. But there's no version where I was going to be as aspirational as I was and be able to check every other box. It's not real. But you have to make sacrifices somewhere. And when things are already stacked against you, you're going to have to make more sacrifices, and they're going to be more painful. And yes, being at work is going to be mentally draining. It's probably going to suck. Every single job is not going to be the best job that you ever had. In fact, probably most of them will be awful. Probably most of the environments will not be great. If you happen to only work in great environments, bless you. Like, you're blessed. Be grateful. It's hard. Success is hard, requires sacrifice. These are not conversations that men have, and we have to be more serious about it. If a man works 80 hours a week, he's driven. If she works 80 hours a week, who the hell's watching her kids? How are you going to find a man when you're always at work? If he steps back for family, he's celebrated for being a good dad. If she steps back for family, she's given up her ambition. What does she even want to become in this world? Why did she even go to school? Why did she even start a career? Men and women are not compared the same way. That's why there's no man boss era. If he fails professionally, it's because he's not supported enough at home. It can't be his fault. If she fails professionally, it's because she's exhausting herself and she really just needs to focus on one thing. It's always a different narrative. And the reality is, you're not going to have it all the time. You're not. You can't. Nobody does. The difference is when men don't, there's not a narrative and a story and a title and a boy boss era attached to it. So I guess in conclusion, do what's best for you, which is always my feminist motto. Do what you want to do. That's what the girlies fought for. Your choice to be a girl boss and ignore everything else in your life until you reach the level of success that you want. Your choice to get married at 19 and raise a family and be a homemaker. I love that too. And every single other version in between. That is up to you. And I'm so grateful that women have that choice. And it is the power of freedom and rights that was fought for that they're trying to now roll back. And it's not a negative thing unless you put the idea out there that you can only be one thing. And men never have to deal with this burden. So just consider when you talk about another woman and what her choices are and what advice she's giving you, is this advice even pertinent to you? If someone's saying you should be in the office more and you're saying, I don't care about being in the office more, I care about my mental health, then don't worry about what they're saying. If you're saying, I want to be the number one person in this particular industry, but I also want to go on vacation. I also want to work 4 days a week. And I also want to go on vacation a couple times a year. And I also don't want to miss anything with my family. And I also want to be able to work out every single morning. And I also want to be able to keep this diet. And I also want everybody to not have any toxicity around me. And I also want to make sure that my workplace supports this and that. Love that for you. But if it doesn't happen, it's more than likely that that's not going to happen. And that's all anyone is saying. You can't have it all at once. Nobody does. Men don't, and women don't. The difference is the standard that girl bossing set was that if you don't have it all, you're failing. That is not true. But there's nothing wrong with trying to have it all and have other things fail, because that's life. It's just different for men and women.